We are live here. Alec here at Soulful Guitar Lessons. Welcome to our Wednesday live stream. The way we format it is the first 10-15 minutes. I'm going to cover a topic, and then the next little bit, like the rest of the time, is all you guys. You guys ask me questions. I try my best to answer them. So welcome to the live stream. Today's topic is R&B fills, pinky chords, sometimes they're called. You can hear a lot of people in like Earth, Wind, and Fire, Isaiah Sharkey, J-Mo, that kind of like, you know, from old to new kind of style guitar player. We're going to cover that today, how to do that. And I'm going to give you a couple examples so that you can really take this and run with it. So if you guys have your guitar, I would grab it. I'm going to change the angle real quick so you can see my guitar. And yeah, this is a super fun little topic here. So I have my trusty Strat. Had this thing for a long time, 20 years, and yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to change this guitar angle, and we can kind of just get into it. So I'm playing this guitar, and here is an idea of some pinky chords. Those fills, those R&B fills. Let me center it a little more. That kind of thing. Alright, so let's figure out how to do that. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. Again, it's helpful if you have your guitar in hand. So really what I'm doing is I'm taking, like, big picture, I'm taking a chord and then I'm surrounding it with a scale. So this chord, if I'm thinking of it, I'm thinking of this chord as like an A major chord. Right? I'm thinking of this chord as an A major chord, like a simple, that's what I'm thinking of it as. So I'm going to play this chord. I'll break it down in a second. So play this chord and then I surround it with like the pentatonic, you know? So like if this is the pentatonic, A major pentatonic, I surround my chord with all those notes. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, and that's really it. So I have my chord and I surround it with the scale. So, and let me show you exactly what chord I'm playing. So I don't play this low E string, but otherwise I bar everything on the 9th fret, bar everything, and then I just add my middle finger on the B string, 10th fret. And all those little hammer-ons, they're coming from the A major pentatonic scale. So literally like a pentatonic scale. And that's really how I'm thinking of all the fills. So let me slow down some of those fills. You know, hammer on, pull off. Right? Okay, so let me give you a fill that you could kind of like take and run with it. So what about this? So just try doing that. So have your guitar, I'm going down, and then I'm up strumming on this, on the high E, like on the, and then up strumming again on the B string. I'm missing it. Down, up, up. Down, up on the E string, pull off, B string, 12th fret, pull off. And that's a fill you could take and run with to, like, all the way. That is super useful thing. So again, we are, to recap, we are playing an A major chord, and we have it up here, and then we just surround, like, all the fills are just the pentatonic. A major pentatonic. So what's so cool about the shape too is like in A major, we can go down here as well. Same exact shape, right? I'm just hitting an A note, but it's literally an A major chord, A major 7. Same exact shape. So it's, I don't play the low string, and then it's, everything is barred on the 4th fret, and then I have my my middle finger here on the B string, 5th fret. And I could do the exact same thing. I'm surrounding it with an A, like the A pentatonic, or, you know, major scale, or the A major scale. So that's my A major scale. So anything is fair game in there. So again, a way to practice this is you would take your chord, right? And then we do a little an up pick on that high string, and we pull off, and then we do another up strum on the B and pull off. And again, the more hammer-ons you do, the better. And we can get into more of this. So all those little in-between things I'm doing, we can get into all of that at some other lesson. I just want to give you guys a taste of what is out there, what is possible, and what you can do effectively. And, you know, we've been here for 7 minutes, and you guys should already be able to do this, or at least have like the knowledge of what to do. And you like, just to practice it, just take that, play with it every day. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day. And within a couple weeks, like if you're kind of a beginner intermediate, you'll be able to knock this out of the park. You know, just it's one of those things, you get it in your fingers, and don't press too hard on the guitar, and make sure your hand is relaxed. You know, that otherwise you're going to start cramping up. Don't want to cramp up. But again, you know, 7 minutes. We just covered a really, really great topic. This rabbit hole goes very deep. I don't want to be on here for the next 6 hours covering all this material, but there'll be a lot more where this came from. So welcome everyone. Thank you guys for, I know we got a couple people on here, so thank you guys for being with me here. My name is Alec, Soulful Guitar Lessons. Today we're covering just some R&B fills. Sonia says, love it. Can you review that major 7 again with the root on the E string? With the root on the E string. Yes, okay. So Sonia wants me to review the 2nd chord I showed you. So let me do that real quick. It is as if this chord is a major chord. So this is the chord. I know it's kind of probably hard to see because my fingers are fat, but the root is right here. That's a major, like literally the letter A, major, you know. This is B major, this is A major. So that is the root, or one of the roots. This rabbit hole goes deep, so, but for our case right now, this is the root. And what I'm doing is I am barring with my 1st fret, the 4th fret, sorry, with my 1st finger. I am barring with my 1st finger everything on the 4th fret except for the low E string. And I'm using my middle finger to play the B string 5th fret. Okay? And then what I'm doing is I'm just using the major scale, A major, A is an apple, to play fills. So I'll use my pinky to go pull off, pull off, pull off on the 7th fret, pull off on the 7th fret on the E and B string respectively. And I can keep going. You know, it can keep going. It can keep going. But for our purposes, that's the little R&B fill that I'll show you guys. And that's a really, really common one. Okay, Carlton says, let me read that real quick. For some reason it disappeared. Carlton says, for some reason it disappeared. little echo happening. Carlton says, you aren't playing that root note on the low E. In theory, how does it still apply as the root? I'm learning the book stuff. Okay, so I've never studied book stuff. But the way chords work is you don't always have to play the root, right? The root can be played by someone else, like the bass player, or it can just be implied. So just because you aren't playing it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So it can. That's where things happen, where there can be like inversions. So if I have a chord, you know, 1, 3, 5, we'll say I just take away the 1, you know, a 3, 5, and then I add another little pretty chord on here. You know, a pretty note on there. The bass player can play that 1 chord, and I could play anything else I want on top, you know? And that's what's really cool about music, and especially when you have a bass player, don't play the root, because you're taking away they're already doing that job, so it's kind of like redundant, you know? You don't want to play the same thing they're doing. So, what's up, Carlson? I haven't seen you in the chat, so welcome to Soulful Guitar Lessons. Thanks for being here. Appreciate the question. It makes this whole thing a lot more fun too. At this time, I want to open it up to Q&A. So any questions you guys have, I have an open book. So let me know anything you guys are working on. Your biggest struggle on guitar. I know I have that question pinned. Excuse me, in the comment. So thank you, Carlton. Appreciate that. Take a little sip of coffee. So yeah, right now is all you guys. Feel free to ask me any questions, and I'm here to help. This coffee's kicking in. Gotta clean those pots. Yeah, again, if you guys have any questions, this is a really, really fun time to ask away. All this stuff, all these like fills, thrills, whatever you want to call them, I learned from like a lot of people showing me, some YouTube stuff, some records. So it's kind of like a big amalgamation of just information that I've taken and distilled over the past, I don't know, a lot of years. I'm here to kind of give you guys only the good stuff and none of the bad stuff, because there's a lot of bad stuff out there. But you know, for these R&B fills and thrills, I guess as I'll call them, you can use them in most R&B music. Earth, Wind and Fire, Luther Vandross, all that kind of thing. Bilal, D'Angelo, yada yada yada, etc., etc. It's a really, really great way to add color to your sound. What's up, Eric? Okay, Sonia asked, what's a tip for when you're learning a lot of information? How do you approach learning many new concepts so it sticks? Sometimes it's easy for me to get overwhelmed, LOL. Okay, that's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. So, all right, so I'm going to tell you what worked for me. What worked for me and then I'll tell you what I advise. So it's kind of like a two-part answer. What worked for me is that, say I had 3 topics to cover, and I didn't want to get overwhelmed, but I wanted it to stick. So a big thing that worked for me was 1, practicing all 3 of those things every day, and 2, making a routine over a long period of time, like a month or longer, but at least a month. So say I have 3 topics I want to cover, I would practice those 3 things every day for at least a month. And for me, that time period and that schedule worked. For other people, it might be longer, it might be shorter. You might catch on really quick. You might forget everything. If you don't do it for 6 months, it's really like a personal thing. But for me, a month seemed to be a great amount of time. That's what I would advise somebody that's kind of asking that. And here's the other thing. When you are learning all this information, even if you practice it for a week, you never really forget it, which is a weird thing. It'll be like deep buried in your subconscious. And I know that's not probably the answer you want to hear. But it's there. It's not always present in the forefront of your like playing. But you'll never know. Sometimes it'll come out, something will come out, and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? And oftentimes it'll be something that you learned in the past. It's just buried deep in your subconscious. But for practical purposes, to answer your question, yeah, I would repeat it every day for a long period of time. Also, application is really, really important. So say you're just learning a topic. Say it's today's topic, these R&B fills. I would also play along to a song that incorporates, like, that I could use these things over. You know what I'm saying? So I would just choose a song and practice these little R&B fills and thrills. Yeah, it might not be the most musical, but it's very like mechanical, and you'll kind of get contextually where it should happen, you know, and that's a big thing too. So that's what I would advise. Practice every day for like at least a month, and then practice also in context. You play over songs. Carlton says, you developed a bad habit of strumming nearly every string while trying to do triads, fills, while playing rhythmically. What's a good way to practice avoiding that? Well, why don't you take away the pick altogether and just use your fingers? That's definitely a way to avoid it. So try that. Triads, what I like to do is I'll play the low note with my thumb, and the higher 2 notes with like breaking upwards, almost as if I'm saying like come here, but like this direction. And I'll play my triads like that. That way you're playing, you're not even using a pick. Problem solved. It's also like the Spanky Alford way of playing, which is, I have a whole nother video on that if you guys want to check that out. It's how Spanky Alford physically plays the guitar. Spanky Alford's a great guitar player. So. Carlton, hope that is helpful. Sonia, no problem. Happy to help. All right. We got some folks here. If you guys are just popping in, say what's up. You might be at work. You might have me muted in the corner of your cubicle, but come on, say what's up. And if you're watching too, give this video thumbs up, or like this video. if you're kind of still watching it, hanging around. Helps everybody out. All right, so I have while we're kind of waiting for more questions to pile in, I also have a free masterclass that is available in the description if you're kind of curious about a little more about my method. I go into more detail, and yeah, it's a super helpful class that I designed, and it's free, so excuse me, just check it out. It's in the description. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I would advise you to subscribe. But yeah, hit that subscribe button. But I'm assuming kind of everyone here is a subscriber. But for everyone that's returning or new, super cool community we're building. Just we really focus on taking, you know, intermediate, advanced players just to the stratosphere, to the next level. Being able to play what you hear in your head, being able to play with your own style, with your own voice, and there's many ways we can get you there. And it'll be a journey. So thank you for coming along the ride with me. There's a lot of people on the internet that'll tell you how to shred. There's a lot of people on the internet that will, you know, play very, in my opinion, distastefully. There's not many people that play with a lot of soul and passion, and that's what we're trying to do here. Get everyone to play meaningfully. Every note counts. Every note is super important. Sonia is asking, the fills I shared, I'm thinking about how I could practice them. Metronome, slow and build up to speed, question mark. Take a basic chord progression and add, good idea, question mark. Or do you have another recommendation? Metronome, absolutely. Use a metronome at a comfortable tempo, probably 80 BPM, start it there, 80 beats per minute, go from there, and then start applying it to songs. Figure out, it's just whatever song you enjoy at the moment. I'm not going to list all the songs, there's hundreds of thousands of songs, but whatever song you find enjoyable that's like in the R&B realm, practice over that. And it's really not even about speed, because this stuff isn't like, doesn't require a lot of speed in my opinion. It just requires a lot of taste and finesse, being relaxed, and so that's where like the metronome comes in. If you can record yourself with a phone, like just so you can hear what you sound like, that's very helpful as well. So that's exactly how I would practice it. Sonia says, you make it look fast, it sounds amazing. Oh, well, thank you. Maybe it's my own blind spot then as a teacher. I think the speed, I guess, happens with the hammer-ons and pull-offs. And that's why in this little description I have like pinky chords as part of the title, is because the pinky does so much heavy lifting, even though it's the weakest digit. It does so much of the heavy lifting of the hammer-on and the pull-off that's really what it's kind of comes down to. Is this digit right here, and it's kind of can be a little stubborn guy, but yeah, take it slow. Don't feel like you have to sound like a record right away, but take it slow, like 80 beats per minute, and then from there you're gonna get better, and yeah, you'll improve over time. says, can't see your guitar. It's a little bit intentional. I want a lot of more people to use your ears. And we'll get into a lot of that. But that'll be for another day. I won't be mean. We got a guy or a gal. I changed my name to Canada. Love your chops, Duder. Thank you, Canada. I changed my name. Asked, have I ever played with Sharky? Yes, I have. Absolutely. That's a story for another time, but I lived in Chicago for 10 years, so yeah, we've done work together. He is definitely one of the greatest guitar players of our generation. So right here is a time for you guys to ask questions. Let me know any questions you guys have. All these chords, all these little substitutions, we're going to get into all that. That's why you guys are here, to understand how all this thing works, play more soulfully. So thank you for trusting me. But right now is a Q&A time, so let me know any questions you guys have. What are your biggest struggles on the guitar? I would love to know. Love to know that. Because really, I love asking these questions because I'll come out with content that helps you guys, or is really tailored to specifically your questions. So, super helpful stuff. Got my handy little Strat here. Can never go wrong with the Strat, right? It's like the most trusty instrument. But today was a good one. Yeah, Carlton, I haven't seen you in the chat, so appreciate you chiming in and making it more lively. It's certainly more enjoyable the more the more people kind of ask and get down in the chat. Changed name asked, what are my favorite guitars to play? I love the Strat and I love Les Pauls. I love I'm a huge, like, I love rock music. I know it might not sound like that, but if you throw on a rock track right now, I'll rip that thing apart. And it's I just, yeah, I love that power of a Les Paul. Strat's a little more finesse. So yeah. But you know, I'll kind of make anything work. I love. I got a Telly. I got a Strat. Les Pauls. It's really about like the tool and what the song calls for. I do a lot of recording, producing, sessions, and like oftentimes a certain genre or guitar will, or sorry, a certain genre will lend itself to a certain style or a certain kind of guitar. So sometimes I reverse engineer it and be like, well, what does this song call for? Yeah. But if it's up to me, a Strat or Les Paul is what I would choose to go to battle with, you know, kind of go on stage or something, or just sit around and play. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in today. Got my coffee here. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. Today was a good one. You know, we kind of just covered some R&B fills, pinky chords. Again, we were kind of just scratching the surface, but I want to give you guys some ideas of what to practice. So that was kind of the first 10-12 minutes. And there'll be a lot more of that. We're gonna really dig into a lot of that R&B pinky stuff and fills, because it's such a cool sound. I just love that sound. And yeah, we had a nice little Q&A as well. Hopefully I helped some of you guys out. You definitely gave me some thoughts to kind of ponder and think about, so that's always great. And yeah, if you guys aren't subscribers, please hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up, like this video. Helps everybody out. Before I log off, changed my name to this, asked any advice for teaching a beginner. I'm assuming that you are a beginner. So one would be get a teacher that like is in person. This channel doesn't 100% focus on beginner kind of guitar playing, but get a teacher that can be in person. It will speed up your growth rapidly. It will help you avoid mistakes, pitfalls, bad habits, all that stuff. And you don't even need to do that many lessons, 5-10 lessons, but you will be sweet. It will be set after that, and then you'll be on your way. But there's a lot of physical, mechanical movements that are happening in guitar that you don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to develop bad habits. So get a teacher. You can look up any local music shop in your area, and there will be a guitar teacher. There are private teachers. There are people that teach it out of shops, and you know, it's a long list. So get a teacher. That'd be my biggest advice. But again, I hope that is helpful. But I'm gonna log off for the day. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate you being a part of this community. It really means a lot, and we're gonna take you playing to the stratosphere. So if you're like an intermediate, advanced player, and you really want to dig deep, follow along here. We're gonna get it. Carlton's asking, when you play, I'm going to answer this last question and then I'm going to log off for the day. When you play with bass and keyboard players on the fly, how would you decide your approach to the music, songs you haven't rehearsed with them? That's a great question. Well, I would identify, first things first, is the song a keyboard song or a guitar song? So like, the first thing that comes to mind is like maybe Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix. That's a guitar song. So the guitar player is playing the chords, and the guitar player is playing like the bulk of everything, and the keyboard is adding like just texture and pad. Let's say it's Never Too Much by Luther Vandross, where it's a keyboard bass song. and the guitar is just doing single note plucky things. So notice the distinction, like with the guitar, with the Jimi Hendrix thing, I'm playing full big old chords. They could be 6, like the entire fretboard. I'm playing everything, and you can just wail. But if it's something like a Luther Vandross, Never Too Much, I'm playing single note plucky stuff, like that funky single note Michael Jackson-y kind of thing. And if it's a keyboard song, that's a really, really safe place to be, is like that single note plucky sound. You know, like this sound, you know. So if the, you know, if that Never Too Much, you know, right, the chords, and then you know, like that, like single note funky stuff works really well when the keyboard is taking the lead. So yeah, think about that. Try to stay out of the way, because then you end up just being like rhythm. So that's what I would advise doing, and just identify who is taking the lead. Kind of like dancing or something, you know, somebody's leading, somebody's following. Great question. That was a really, really great question. We can get more into that maybe next time. We do live streams here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. California time. So I'll see you guys back here next Wednesday. Bring your questions, bring your guitar, bring some ideas, because it's we're building a community here. So thank you everyone for joining along, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Take care.